and business coming in. So thank you for joining us. Had a little trouble getting the screen ready to go, so that always happens every now and then. You think you're ready, and you click start screen, and nothing pops up. So I apologize for being a few minutes late, so let's go ahead and just jump right into this. Take a look at the map right there in front of you. This is the states where the Plan G is available, and in the blue states, they are already approved. In the yellow states, they're pending. I don't know why my screen, again, I guess we didn't get this fixed as well as we thought we did. But we're getting most of these states up and running for everybody, and hopefully the yellow states will come online here real quick. And if you take a look at the states with the star in them, the blue star in there, those are states that currently offer a 7% household discount, and 2 people do have to apply, just like with the Plan F that we've sold in those states. And then there are a handful of states, I think we have 5, to where we only have to have 1 person apply, which I think is a huge advantage versus the 2 people have to apply, and that would be Missouri, Illinois, Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Of course, Virginia and North Carolina are still pending on the offering of the Plan G. So, with that said, guys, why do we want to sell Plan G versus a Plan F? I don't know how many times I've heard in the 31 years I've been selling Medicare supplement insurance, I want Plan F. I just got to have a Plan F. But if you take a look at the grid, I think most of you people know what I'm talking about here. I'm going to say there's virtually no difference in a Plan G versus a Plan F. If you have a person that goes into the hospital and the bill's $100,000 under a Plan F, she's not going to pay more out of her pocket for a Plan F than she does if she has a Plan G, unless there's some doctor bills in there. And as we all know, the only difference is the Part B deductible of $147. So guys, when I'm out selling, I carry this exact picture of this outline of coverage, and I got the Plan F and the Plan G highlighted just like you're looking at on the screen. Because when I'm sitting there talking to somebody, and maybe their Plan F is $150 and my Plan G is $110, that's $40 a month difference. Well, 40 times 12 is a lot more than $147 total for the year. So I use this to first let them know that there's only 1 block that's not colored yellow under the Plan G, and that's the Part B deductible. And then I go through there and I let them know that that is only a one-time charge of $147. So it's very easy to explain the differences and educate them, but I don't know how many times I've heard, oh, I got to have a Plan F, I got to have a Plan F. Well, when they say they've heard the Plan F is what they got to have, I just simply ask them, I say, well, Ms. Jones, why is it that you think you have to have a Plan F? And that way I start getting their objections out as to why they think that's the best plan. And a lot of times they'll say, well, that's what Mary's got. Well, I understand that, but maybe you're paying for something that you're not getting that much value out of compared to what you're paying for that plan versus a competitive plan. So I just use this as a comparison tool. I keep it highlighted just like that. I've got it under plastic, so when people, when I use it over and over, it doesn't get weathered or tattered, and it looks good. So that way, if you ask them to pull out their last policy they bought, chances are they got their company's old plan right there just like that, and they can look and see that, hey, it's just the same now as it was back 5 years ago. So I keep that piece of paper under plastic highlighted in yellow. Now, we're going to take a little minute here and get political on you. Why do we want to start learning to sell Plan G over Plan F? Well, first off, if the government has their way, we're probably not going to have too much choices about that. The political argument is first dollar coverage drives up cost. That may be true, that may not be true, but I can see some points that make sense when they say that. If somebody's got a zero cost plan to them, they're going to go to the doctor every chance they get if they think they need to go. To where if they have to put a little skin in the game, maybe they go, it's going to cost me $50, $60. I'm not that bad. I'm just going to stay at home. So I understand the logic. So the government is going to probably enforce a law or a piece of legislation that has already passed, and it goes into effect in 2020. So you and I need to have these types of things in our kit to show people another reason why they need to maybe consider Plan G over Plan F. And this was a bill that had some language in it. There's 2 or 3 pages here. This is tells you about the days and the times of when it's going to be enforced. There's also a piece in this legislation, I don't have it in my webinar, but they're going to be going away from Social Security numbers probably in the next 2 to 3 years. They're going to implement that, so you won't, typically when you look at somebody's Medicare card and if the letter A is behind their Medicare number, we know that that's their Social Security number. Well, with all the hacking and fraud going on with stealing people's identities anymore, I think you're going to see very soon that Social Security numbers will not be on the Medicare card, kind of like a lot of states have done with driver's license. So just real quick, this says right here at the top paragraph, I'm going to go through that real quick. It says, leaders of both parties in the House expressed confidence on Wednesday that their chamber would soon approve sweeping changes in Medicare, even though the CBO released figures showing that the bill could add more than $140 billion to the federal budget. So if it's going to cost us more money, the politicians are all for it. But the most important thing for you and I is right here. That's the 2 provisions of the House Medicare bill that would directly affect beneficiaries. Starting in 2020, insurers would not be allowed to sell supplementary insurance plans to new beneficiaries to cover the cost of the Medicare deductible for doctor services. So what does that mean? That means Plan F, Plan C are going to be going away in the very near future. 2020 is not that far off. It seems like just recently my kids were running through the house saying, Lordy, Lordy, Daddy's 40, and that was 22 years ago. So time does go by pretty quick. So this is something that we are going to have to learn to deal with. But the guys and gals that go out there right now and start educating their policyholders as to why you may now want to consider a Plan G instead of a Plan F is because you're probably going to have to make that change in the very near future. And then there's some more changes. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but about in 2018 where the bill would require higher income beneficiaries to pay higher premiums, and then they got the numbers right down here below that. If you guys want a copy of these little slides to where you can kind of put that under your kit, it just kind of helps you drive home the need for a Plan G versus a Plan F. And there's some other reasons that we will cover here shortly as we move through this webinar. Anyway, why would we sell Plan G benefits for you and the client? We get level commissions through years 1 through 6. That's not in all states. I think if you're listening from Michigan, you know that it's a higher comp the first 3 years, but then it drops way down after that. But this is just a generic version. So going to get good comp years 1 through 6. We still offer the 12-month advance on the Plan G. And by the way, as a lot of companies don't do, but we do, you have lifetime renewals. Even after the 6th year, we still continue to pay for 7+. A huge market out there, a huge market that needs to understand that a Plan F is probably not going to be available in about 4.5 years. So we both know on this webinar that the baby boomers, 10,000 a day, turn 65 in this country. So that's a lot of opportunities for you and I to go out there and say, I know you want a Plan F, and that's not a bad thing, but before you make that decision, let's take time and educate ourselves as to why maybe there may be a better option outside of a Plan F. So if you take a look at that, in 2020, or in 2050, right now in 2000, we had under 40 million beneficiaries, around 36 million. In 2010, there was right at 40 million boomers. And now look at that graph in 2050, from 40 to over 80. So that's a pretty, I think, a very exciting chart for you and I. Well, for you guys anyway. I won't live to 2050, but there's a lot of opportunity in the senior market, and I've read this statistic many, many times. But the senior citizens in this country control about 80% of the wealth in this country. So why do we want to continue to have good opportunities to the baby boomer generation? Number one, about all of them are going to buy a Supp or a Medicare Advantage, or the others will be on Medicaid. But one of those 3 categories are going to fall into most people, in the baby boomer market. So that gives us other selling opportunities. We can go in there and place final expense, maybe a short-term care plan. If they have a Medicare Advantage plan, we have a great hospital indemnity plan to offer them, and a new one going to be coming out soon on that product. So Equitable's, trying to give you a good mix of products to sell to your senior clients. And with these numbers growing over the years, it's a great, great time to be in the senior market for both of us. Okay, 7% household discount. That is where it's available. I showed you that map earlier. There's 5 states to where only one need apply. That would be Missouri, Illinois, North Carolina, Virginia, and who am I missing? Maybe South Carolina. Yes, South Carolina. So those 5 states only have the one person need apply, and then you have a 2-person apply in the other states. Okay, where do you market a Plan G? Well, I got several places to where I would be marketing. Number one, as we've talked about, is people turning 65. I'd educate them as to why they may want to consider G versus F. And people who are in relatively good health, maybe they don't go to the doctor but once a year, maybe they don't go at all. Why pay for that extra money for something they're not getting any benefit for? And Plan F does continue to go up seemingly on a more rapid pace than a Plan G. I will use my mother and my aunt as an example. I live in Missouri, and so does my mom and my aunt. About 4 years ago, I wrote both of them on Mutual of Omaha. I wrote my mom a Plan G. I wrote my aunt a Plan F because she has macular degeneration, and she can't see when bills come in. It gets her really flustered, so she just wants it paid. She doesn't want to fool with it. So my mother's Plan G has not went up for 3 years. And guys, gals, I'm talking about in Missouri where we have guarantee issue rules. So prices in the state of Missouri go up on a regular basis. My mother is 82. My aunt is 80. Well, she'll be 85 the 16th of this month. And they bought it the exact same time. There's only 1 month difference in their birthdays. My mom's in April, my aunt's in May. And my mom renewed this year at $1,848. My aunt renewed at $2,800, a shade over $2,800. Now you tell me, there's only 2 years difference in their age. Who's got the best policy and who's getting the most for their dollar? Definitely my mom. And again, the reason why Plan F goes up, it's a guarantee issue plan. Plan G is not a guarantee issue plan. If you do not understand the differences between what I just said there, get your healthcare buyer's guide out and go to page, I think it's either 19 or 20, might be 21. So it's in that area on the guarantee issue rules, and look at all the different rights that a Medicare beneficiary has under guarantee issue, and you will not see anywhere a Plan G listed, but you will see in every one of those situations a Plan F listed. So that's another reason why Plan F continues to go up a little quicker than a Plan G in most scenarios, not always. Then you got the people that have enrolled in a Plan N, and maybe they're just not happy with it. Maybe they don't like the co-payment when they go to the doctor. Maybe they didn't like the co-payment when they go to an emergency room. However, I don't have any problems with a Plan N. The hospital benefits on Part A are identical to a F and a G. And the only difference is you got the co-payments for Plan N, and you got the $147 not paid, and you don't have excess charges. However, there's not a lot of doctors in today's world that do not take assignment. Now, 10, 15 years ago, that was a lot different. But in today's world, most Plan Ns, there's very few doctors in today's world that don't accept assignment, and usually when they are, they're the little pocket doctors, not the specialists or things like that charge the big dollars. But you do have people out there that think they don't like the Plan N. They don't want to have to figure out how to pay that co-payment each time. It gets confusing. So Plan G is a good alternative for those folks. And I'll tell you, with the way some of these Plan Ns, when Mutual came out with their Plan N with no underwriting, if you're in somebody's got a Mutual of Omaha Plan N, there's a strong chance that they can get more benefits under the Plan G and save money. So there's a good opportunity. Don't always, don't discount just because it's a Plan N, it's less money. You got your new to Medicare. We've already talked about that. You got the $10,000 a day turning to Medicare, that in the year 2020 no longer will be allowed to keep their Plan F, or they will no longer be able to buy a Plan F, but because it's going away. So you'll have all those people coming into the plan. And then you have your people that sometimes buy a high deductible Medicare supplement. Maybe they're paying $50, $60 a month for it. And the more the Medicare deductibles go up, the more the out-of-pocket goes up on those plans. But those are always opportunities just to where we can place that Plan G. So what I did, guys, is I just took a 65-year-old female in Nebraska with the discount, added on both policies. Mutual has a discount, and so does the Equitable Plan G. But if you look at a Plan F, say you've got somebody out there that bought Mutual of Omaha's Plan F at $121.37. You take that times 12, you come up with $1,456. Equate that over to that 65-year-old female on a Plan G, and that with the discount is $79.12. Take that times 12, that's $949. Now, you and I can both look at that and say, who's got the best policy? The Plan G person only has to pay $147 out of their pocket. That's a total savings of $507 in that scenario. Take that times two people, a husband and wife, wouldn't be the exact same numbers, but you get where I'm headed. That's about $1,000 a year for basically the same apple, about $800 a year or $700 a year if you add the 147 back into it. So either way, Larry, I put the scenario out there to make it the same. So now they've paid their Part B deductible, they got identical coverage to the Plan F, and they've saved $360 a year. Take that times two, you're at $720. That's a lot of money for the same apple. Just it's as simple as getting your legal pad out and doing a little homework and going through the numbers, because that's all it is numbers. The only difference is $147. So take time to educate them. Take time to use examples just like this. It's very, very effective when they can actually see on paper, well, yeah, why would I want to pay $1,456 when I could pay $949? I can afford $147. So very, very easy to show them the differences in a Plan G versus a Plan F. Okay, again, guys, it's all about numbers. Basically put, if it's more than $12.25 or more for a Plan F over a Plan G, then they're spending money for something that they shouldn't be spending money on. So basically what I'm saying is if their Plan F is more than $12.25 more than what you have with a Plan G offering, you need to get your legal pad out and start going through these examples, get your outline of coverage out and show them that little yellow graph, and guys, it'll help you place a lot of business. I've been doing this for 31 years, and I think it's very effective when I say to somebody, well, Mr. Jones, my mother has a Plan G, so that tells you I'm not too afraid of it. So if you're, in my age group or below, if you're in your 40s and 50s and your mom and dad's on Medicare and they have insurance with you, sit down and talk to them about a Plan G. So when you're actually talking to new prospects, you can say, well, my mom and dad both have a Plan G instead of a Plan F, and they're getting along just fine with it. Use personal experiences to help close the sales. Explain why the Plan G premium should remain more competitive through the coming years. Use my example that I was telling you earlier about the guarantee issue. Open your outline or your healthcare buyer's guide up and show them. Explain to them, Plan F is a guarantee issue plan. That's kind of why the Plan F continues to go up. Plan G is not a guarantee issue plan, but take time to explain that to them. And guys, you can lay a lot of Plan G premium on the books pretty quick. Here's just some rates that we threw out for the webinar. We just took a variety of different states because we know people are listening from different parts of the country. In Illinois, if you look at our Plan G premium, again, this is a 65 through 67-year-old female, lowest area factor. You guys know how all that works. If you look at the outline of coverage for full rates and household discount applications, you'll see the male and the female in there. But so we just went through these 6 different states, starting out with Illinois. It's $101.46. Even if they don't qualify for the household discount, that's still a very good product or price. Now, if they do qualify for the household discount, that drops it down to $94.36. Guys, gals, that's a daggone good premium for a very quality product. In Kansas, where we're sitting at right now, is $99.97. So take 7% off of that if we get it. I don't know that we will, but still at $99.97 makes it a very tough product. Kentucky, we're at $94.66. If they get the discount, you're down to $88.03. In Mississippi, getting a lot of business out of Mississippi. Mississippi was one of our top producing states, so was Illinois. On our Plan F offering, we're still getting a lot of those premiums in. Mississippi, we're at $85.07 with the discount, $91.40 without. It's still pending. We haven't got that approved yet. And Nebraska, we've got a guy here in our office today, a guy by the name of Mike Roth, who's been a good partner of ours for the years. Our Plan G in Nebraska, if they get the discount, $79.12. So, guys, there's a lot of opportunity out there to put this Plan G on the books. Okay, talk a little bit about our submitting our applications. Most of you have been with Equitable for quite some time, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on a lot of this. I'll just, go through it with you real quick. As you well know, for many years, Equitable has led the field with our electronic contracting. You can go on our website, get an agent invite. You can contract agents through that. You can have agents approved in 24 to 48 hours. I have heard horror stories about people trying to get contracted with companies taking 4 to 6 weeks. Try to sell that idea to an agent that's got a business to write, and he can't get appointed. It takes him 4 to 5 weeks to get appointed. You're not going to run into those issues with Equitable. We will get you appointed quickly. Like I said, it's all electronic. And we've been leading the field on this telephonic application for years. Heard a lot of people claim, well, so-and-so's got that. And then you start asking about, so, well, no, they don't do that. And they say, well, do you get a policy number to it? No, you don't get that. That takes 2, 3, 4 days yet. So the telephonic application is still an extremely good tool, and it is even getting better with our online express application, which I'll go through here in just a minute. So the telephonic application, guys, not a drug screen or a pre-qualification call. We complete this application in full over the telephone. As you well know, as an example, I wrote 3 apps yesterday and never left my office chair. So that tells you that all 3 of those people have policy numbers. All 3 were approved in about a 20-minute phone call. So very, very good when you can place business like that in today's world. More of these, especially these new people coming into the market, they're used to doing things over the internet. They're used to buying stuff over the web. So by being able to sell them an insurance policy over the phone saves you a lot of time and a lot of dollars. And it saves on paper. You get these people out there that are green fanatics. They love the fact that they're going to have to fill out paper. So that's another good thing about the telephonic app. The only thing we need is the replacement form. If you guys are listening from Illinois, you also know that there is the Illinois checklist that you have to fill out also. But we have eliminated the replacement form with our online express application, and we're getting a lot of good comments back on that. The application has simplified underwriting. We're looking at about a 96% issue rate. Guys, this block of business that a lot of you guys have helped contribute to on our Plan F offering is moving real close to $100 million of premium sold. So if you have contributed to that and you're listening to this webinar, our hats are off to you. You're the lifeblood of Equitable Life and Casualty, and we do appreciate you. So with this Plan G offering, we think when we close the books on this, 2 or 3 years down the road, you know how Supp is. You lose your competitive edge when you have your rate increases. Our rate increases have been very modest, but you lose your sizzle as being in the top chair is what I'm getting at. A lot of people will continue to send businesses because they love the way Equitable does business, and policyholders stick with us because they love the way Equitable treats them. So we're at about a 96% issue rate, and again, that block of business is growing. If you're doing an open enrollment, you're looking at a 15-minute process, start to finish. On 3 of the apps that I did yesterday, I think one of them took 18 minutes, but had a little bit of a hearing problem with the lady that we were enrolling. However, this is as close as you'll ever get as an instant issue Medicare supplement policy. Electronic applications. So let's take a little bit of time here today and talk about electronic applications. I want to try to get you guys back to work, so I've shortened some of this up. Some of you have tried the electronic application. A lot of you have not yet, but guys, I'm going to give you some examples of to where this can be so helpful to you. So let's get right into that. You go to your agent website, the agent portal, and you go to www.equiline.com. That will pull up your agent website. You've got to log in with your name and or your writing number and your password. And when you go under the support tab, click on the Online Express application. That's what you should see when you click on the agent website. As a matter of fact, that's a picture of mine. It says, "Good afternoon, Bill." It tells you that when I put this together, it was April the 9th. So we're about a month ago when we put this on there. Click on the Online Express application, and then that will take you to the screen. And you'll see a submitted application tracker, and it'll say Start the Application. So all you do is click on that application, and then you're going to get a listing of all the states that you're licensed in. So pick out the state that you're selling. If you're in Missouri, you'd click on Missouri. If you're in Arizona, click on Arizona. And then that will pull your state-specific application onto your screen. Now, a couple of different ways of doing this. If you're face-to-face selling and you have a hotspot where you have internet access, you can do it right there in the person's home. If you don't, it's a very simple process to take the copy of the app. You don't have to go through, you need to go through the health questions with the policyholder to make sure they're a good risk, but you don't need to pick up any of the checks or banking information. We will do that for you as a company. And then you can bring that back to your office, log all this in here, just type it neatly in. It's basically everything's on the app, and hit the submit button, and that will guarantee your policyholder a call back within 24 hours. But let's say you're doing it over the phone, and you click this up, and you got the application date 4/9/15. What is the applicant's gender, male, female, their title, Mr. or Mrs., just like you're filling out a normal application. All of this is taken right off of the application. If it has a little asterisk and a required button, that means you have to fill that blank in. If you fill this whole page out and move to the next page and you miss one of these, it will come back and there will be a red warning saying you got to, fill this out. So it'll tell you what you missed. Therefore, you can't make a mistake unless you type the name in wrong. What plan is the applicant paying for? Is it open enrollment or guarantee issue? Yes or no. The requested effective date that you're looking for, the draft date that you want, and where do you want us to pay claims, to the provider or to the policyholder? I would always click provider. I wouldn't even give them a choice. Producer supplement information, talking about did you meet them in person, did you complete the application over the phone, and it just goes right on down the application. You're going to get into the personal application, their Social Security, their Medicare number, their title. Some of this will autofill that you've already typed it in there once, like their name, that'll autofill. Their date of birth, how tall are they, what do they weigh. Then you get their name, address. Guys, it's an application that you're just taking and filling out. So you just keep right on going through this. You'll get into all your Medicare questions. Are you covered under Medicare Part A? Yes or no. If you click no, it will ask for the Medicare effective date. Just like another screen will drop, and you'll fill out. Say that I'm doing this right now. It says, are you covered under Medicare Part A? And I check no, and it says, well, what is your effective date? And I say June 1, 2015, Part A, Part B. So, it's like I said, it's just a application that you're taking and logging the information on. You go all the way through that, answer all their questions. It'll come into, do you agree with the certification above, sign and state. Your name will fill in automatically. You put your phone number in there, see where it says producer's email. You're already contracted with us, so that'll auto-fill for you. And then let's say under producer comments that you say, okay, I want you to draft this on June the 5th. Write that in right there. This is an optional field. You don't have to fill anything in there. But if there's certain requests that you want to make, put those in there, and the date will automatically fit in there for you. And then, guys, all you do is hit submit the application. So we've got it all filled out. Now I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios of when and how to use this. Let's say that you're really, really busy and you're running behind time and you're the guy that still goes and sits down and does the face-to-face selling with your policyholders, which I think is the way to do it. I do it both ways today because of time, but I still go face-to-face with a lot of my policyholders. So let's say that I'm face-to-face with Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and I've went through the application with them. I've asked them all the health questions. I think they're a very good risk. I've got their medications down, and I think, you know, this will fly. But I'm about 30 minutes late for my next appointment. So I tell my policyholder, I say, well, Mr. Jones, here's what I'm going to do for you and your wife. I think you're a very good risk. I'm going to take this information that you've given me. I'm going to go back to my office and do my online express app, and it's like an e-app. I will send that directly to the company, and they will call you within 24 hours to do the health verification, your medication verification, and get your banking information on paying this, on how you want to pay it on the monthly bank draft. They'll get your routing number, so have all that stuff ready. And then in my producer comments, I'm going to say, so what time would be a good time approximately for us to call you tomorrow? And if they say 10 a.m., I'm going to write, try to call around 10 a.m. on Thursday and put the date down. So I'm going to write that in the comments. So I leave. Now, if I'm the old-fashioned guy, just like the example I give you, and I take that back to my office and I picked up a check and everything the old-fashioned way, and I'm going to mail it to Equitable or fax it to Equitable, that goes into their workflow, and they may get a call back within, 3 or 4 days. You may get a policy issued in 7 to 10 days. By doing it the way I'm just telling you, if you bring that back, fill it in that night, hit the submit button, you just moved yourself from a 4 or 5 day underwriting callback to a 24-hour underwriting callback. So what does that do good for you and I? It helps us get a policy underwritten. It helps us eliminate buyer's remorse because we're getting it done quickly. If you've been in the Medicare supplement arena for years, one of the worst things that you and I have to deal with is buyer's remorse, and getting policies delayed on issue causes buyer's remorse. So by doing it the old-fashioned way, you can still get an underwriting call within 24 hours, and guys, gals, that's huge to us as agents. Now, let's say that you're doing a call center situation, or you're just selling over the phone. Maybe you've got somebody that's got XYZ company and it went way up and you think they're a good prospect for Equitable. You call them up and you got the relationship with them, and you're in your office and you're filling this out as you go down through there, and you hit the submit button, and then you say, now, Ms. Jones, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call the Equitable underwriting hotline, and we'll go ahead and get your answer for you right now to see if you're approved or not. So if you're selling over the telephone and you're filling this out as you go, then you hit submit. In about 5 minutes, you call that underwriting hotline. They'll have all the information. Now they don't have to go back and verify everything like on the telephonic app that we currently have done over the years, because they've already got the app filled out. It's neatly typed in there. They can read it. They see the Social Security number. They see all of that. Basically, at that point, guys, gals, all the underwriter has to do is verify the health information, get the banking information, and then you'll get your policy number, and it cuts your time on the phone call. If you've done any of these telephonic apps, you know you can be on a phone anywhere from on a fully underwritten app for at least 20 minutes. By doing it this way, by having all this pre-filled out and hit the submit, you're going to cut your time with the underwriter down to about 10 to 12 minutes. And guys, the agents that are using this and getting good at it, absolutely, the feedback has been phenomenal. They absolutely love it. So if you have any questions, at the end of the webinar, you'll have our contact information, and there's things that you still have questions about. Well, first off, I got Todd Weiss on the other end of the webinar right now, and I'm sure you guys all know that you can hit that little orange button up there in the upper right-hand screen and type your questions in, and he answers most of these as we go through here. But if there's anything that we need to talk about in depth or longer, by all means, get in touch with us, and we'll get them taken care of for you. Okay, hit that submit button, and we're on the way. Within 24 hours, your client gets a call back to complete the health questions and the banking information. You're going to get an email letting you know the results. It's extremely fast and very easy. I always tell people if I can do it, I know other people can do it because I'm what they call computer challenged, to be nice to me. Here's where it goes to as far as submitting the applications: the telephonic application, your electronic application. Most of you people already have this. The fax number, 888-352-5216, or you can hard mail stuff to P.O. Box 2460, Salt Lake City, Utah, 84110. So let's go back and just do a real quick recap, and then we'll get you guys in and back in the sales field. So first, for Plan G, as far as an alternative to a Plan F for you and your clients. First off, guys, understand the coverage. Under federal law, the only difference in coverage for the Medicare Part B deductible, that's $147 for 2015. Plan F pays that deductible. Plan G does not. That is the only difference. Second, consider the price. Do the easy math. Compare the differences between an F and a G. Depending on your client's age and gender, they could easily save $300, $600, sometimes even $1,000 per year by self-insuring the Medicare Part B deductible. You know, it's not uncommon to go into some of these people paying $2,000 to $3,000 a year for a Plan F that they've had for years. So there is a good chance that you could save them an upwards of $1,000, especially in a husband-wife situation. Third, consider the future. Our experience has shown that Plan G has a greater rate stability over time other than a Plan F. A major factor that contributes to that rate stability is the business mix. Plan F is exposed to the guarantee issue rules. Again, refer back to your healthcare buyer's guide. You all have those when you sell policies. Use them to your advantage. There's a lot of good selling material in there. And there's one article in there, I can't remember what page it's on, but it says insurance companies sell a huge difference in premiums for the exact same coverages. So sometimes you'll get some policyholders say, well, how can you sell it for this and they can't? Be sure you know how to explain that. And be sure that you have that buyer's guide, because that's the NAIC and the insurance commissioners and CMS and Medicare putting that information together, not just the old salesperson out here trying to get them to pull the trigger to make the insurance pay the salesperson some money. They're getting that information directly from the people who admin the products or the Medicare program. A little different when somebody like that's telling them than you and I, so if you can point that out in that book, that's very helpful to us. Anyway, Plan F is exposed to the certain GI requirements, while Plan G is not, allowing Plan G to have a more stable risk pool, and that stability gives us better premium savings over time. Okay, real quick, guys, gals, other products that we offer, the final expense plan. A lot of you have been selling our Heritage Protector final expense. I just want to let you know that you're going to start getting emails and e-blasts from another marketing company that we have empowered, and they're going to be putting the Legacy Safeguard benefit to the Heritage Protector. That's a huge selling tool for you and I. A great product to add to the Heritage Protector. It does not cost the policyholder a nickel. So great addition to that Heritage Protector product. Our hospital indemnity plan is our EquiCash plan, and we're revamping that. We hope to have another one in your hands prior to AEP, when Medicare Advantage sales go through the roof. A great add-on to that product. And then our standalone cancer product, and we are also looking at coming out with a lump sum cancer plan. So if somebody wants to buy $5,000 worth of benefit, they pay a premium, they get cancer, they get a check for $5,000. I think that's going to go into the $25,000 to $50,000 offerings. So we're doing a lot of things here on the back end to keep you guys competitive in front of these people turning 65, the 10,000 a day, and giving you a lot of options to take to your policyholders. And that's a good deal for us as Equitable representatives. So guys, that's all I got. I'm your presenter. You can get a hold of me at bill.e@e-hfg.com. If you have any marketing questions, you can get a hold of Todd Weiss or myself at tweiss, W-Y-S-S, at e-hfg.com. And for licensing or contracting, you can call 800-352-5121. Todd, is there, let me hit this